Now, whether or not it's going to be tactical nukes, we have seen ample evidence and, of course, advertisements from people like Bill Ayers and others saying we want to disrupt the inauguration as much as we can. So they want to, and now we've got undercover investigations done by Project Veritas. The first part was released today. Part 2 is going to be released tomorrow, and James O'Keefe is going to join us to talk about that. But first, I want to play part 1 that was released today. This is part of Project Veritas infiltrating some of these groups to say that they're going to disrupt, to block, to release, in some cases, very smelly substances to make people have to evacuate the rooms. That's what they're talking about doing. Here's the undercover investigation from Project Veritas.
Yeah, if you have a freaking pint of butyric acid, I don't care how big the building is, it's closed and it's staying closed for a while.
And this stuff is like, it's very efficient. It's very, very smelly. It lasts a long time, and a little of it goes a long way.
I know, I'm trying to think through how to get all this fingers rub at once. There's usually a piece of like fusible metal or a piece of glass in the liquid and it'll blow.
This is undercover video of potential criminal acts being planned. These organizers and activists are talking about setting off butyric acid into the ventilation system and setting off fire alarm sprinklers at a Trump inaugural ball later this week. What you're about to see is part 1 of our hidden camera investigation into the groups and organizations that seek to cause havoc and violence at the Trump inauguration in Washington, D.C.
I, Ronald Reagan.
I, George Herbert Walker Bush.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
Please lock the door. Please lock the doors. Lock him, lock him, lock him. Don't let them in.
Hey, I just want to say one thing to the person on the phone.
Can you please move
Bob
over to my
Kramer
way?
sends his regards.
The next 4 years, we are going to fight Trump and everything he stands for with no quarter asked, no quarter given, no mercy of any kind.
Throw them all under the bus. I mean, just get up. I like the idea of the goal being that they have to pull the inauguration inside.
Be prepared to help make the inauguration a giant cluster.
Shortly after the election, we started getting tips that radical groups are planning to derail President-elect Trump's inauguration, perhaps even trying to shut down the city of Washington, D.C. Various groups, some old, some new, have gathered together under the Disrupt J20 umbrella. Progress Unity Fund, Workers' World Party, Americans Take Action, Answer Coalition, and many more. Today's investigation focuses on these guys from the D.C. Anti-Fascist Coalition.
The message has to be that, we do not recognize the city government either. If you try to close this down, we will look for your house, we will burn it, we will physically fight the police if they try to clear one of our places. We will go to war, and you will lose.
Early on, one of our journalists was sent an email inviting him to a planning meeting. The discussion centered around disrupting the DeploraBall, a big pro-Trump inaugural ball scheduled the night before the inauguration.
I mean, it would be really interesting if you could stop them from having the deploraBall at all. Yeah.
It was at this meeting where we met Scott Green, Luke Kuhn, and Colin Dunn. They were very gung-ho and clearly well-versed in the dark arts of sabotage.
We already know what we're all there for, so we won't be okay. So we don't have to use the word DeploraBall at all. Yeah. And things like that. So just in case there are yahoos in there.
Through emails, another meeting was set up at the infamous Comet Ping Pong Pizza Restaurant in Northwest Washington, D.C.
I was thinking of things that would ruin the evening, ruin their outfits, or otherwise make it impossible to continue with their plans, make sure they get nothing accomplished.
The DeploraBall is being held here at the National Press Club in downtown Washington, D.C. The plan: set off butyric acid stink bombs, forcing everyone to evacuate the premises.
Yeah, if you have a freaking pint of butyric acid, I don't care how big the building is, it's closed and it's staying closed for a while.
And this stuff is like, it's very efficient. It's very, very smelly. It lasts a long time, and a little of it goes a long way.
We would repaint the original plan. We could use all that same stuff. And then I can rig the cans with a plunger, some stiff rubber bands, and a safety pin thing. So all you got to do is pull the pin and press the plunger, and the whole pin.
All right, and it's kind of hard to hear that with the crowd noise there, but what they're saying is a little bit of this goes a long way. It's very efficient, and we're going to set that off. Now we'll play. We'll have the rest of that posted on Infowars.com. And again, James O'Keefe is going to be joining us tomorrow to discuss not only this, but also part 2 that will be released tomorrow. It was also interesting over the weekend. We saw these stories that came out. First one Friday night. We had Washington Post saying that Donald Trump, or first it said that it was going to be Obama who was firing the head, the general of the District of Columbia's National Guard, and that he was going to be fired at 12:01. Right after, the minute after Donald Trump became president, this guy was going to be fired. And that seemed to be unusual. They said it was Obama. And so people looked at that and said, whoa, are they planning something here? They had D.C. city councilmen said, that's That's kind of strange to do that at that point in time. Then they said, well, no, it wasn't Obama. Trump wanted to do that because he doesn't like this guy and he wants to get him out right away. And then they walked all of this stuff back in addition. So we wound up finally, where this story got left, Washington Post changed the story on Trump firing the D.C. National Guard. They basically took it out after raising everybody's eyebrows, they point out in Breitbart, to make this unusual decision. So there's a lot of things that are very unusual about what's going on here. But the bottom line, folks, is that these people, the Disrupt J20, the people who are planning to try to disrupt the inauguration, are the same people who have been trying to disrupt the election, who tried to disrupt the nomination process. Remember, they said, no, we don't want to have Donald Trump get nominated. We're going to try to organize a revolt with the electors to overrule what the people have chosen during the primaries. Then they said, we're going to try to organize a revolt with the Electoral College to overrule what the people wanted. Isn't it interesting that these communists always say that they represent the people, the masses of the people, when they really don't? They have nothing but contempt for the will of the people, contempt for the rule of law, contempt for democracy. And, you know, when I look at issues that I'm concerned about, I've never been a fan of demonstrations because of exactly what you see there. It brings out the worst elements on either side, and it turns into these types of Kristallnacht things, these types of Chicago convention things. I mean, this is what this is all about, folks. These are people who like to go through the streets just aching to create a riot, aching to burn a town down, aching to loot businesses, go through the black section of town and burn it and loot the businesses because they said that there was an issue with a black man and the police or whatever. They always do the wrong thing. There's ways to get change done. As I pointed out before, you got Bernie Sanders saying, look, I'll work with Donald Trump on rebuilding the infrastructure as long as he doesn't sell it off to foreign people. I'm all for helping him with that, saying I'll work with him on NAFTA. But then you got on the other side, you got these people like John Lewis who start spreading lies around and say, well, he's totally illegitimate. I can't work with him. I got to shut him down. And that's what these people who are working on the inauguration are looking at.
InfoWars has more than 15 YouTube channels and about 3 million subscribers. Our main channel has 1.854 or 1,854,000 plus subscribers. Now, they've been gaming the system for a long time to shut down nationalistic or patriotic media, saying we're right-wingers, saying we're extremists. Well, it doesn't matter who we are. We have a right to free speech, don't we? As long as we don't violate the rules. Well, now Zuckerberg has come out and said he's going to restrict conservative news like communist China does, calling it fake news. And Google, that owns YouTube, has announced, and they've done it now 2 weeks ago, that they're going to basically make you click the bell in your notifications. We're going to show you how to do that, or you won't get all the channels that you've subscribed to, and you won't get the videos. Now, why are they doing this? It's more than just censoring. They want you to see the videos that they feed you below and beside the videos you're looking at that are corporately sponsored so they make more money. They're taking the you out of YouTube. So we're in this information war, and it's more important than ever that you promote the videos, that you like the videos, and that you send them on to others. Because the answer to the attempt to shut us down and restrict free speech that's openly now happening is for us to redouble our efforts. We're winning the culture war as true classical liberals that made this country great. We're restoring the Renaissance. So again, if you want to get our videos, so you can make your decision whether you want to see them or not. After all, that's why you subscribed. YouTube's had this since they started 12 years ago or whatever it was. And they're fundamentally changing it so you don't get it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is promoting fake news and trash news and establishment news. It's killing real independent news. But we, the people, by taking action, can break the back of this system. So please click on the bell so you get the notifications and so you get in your feed the videos and channels you've subscribed to. I'm Alex Jones for Infowars.com.
Now, whether or not it's going to be tactical nukes, we have seen ample evidence and, of course, advertisements from people like Bill Ayers and others saying we want to disrupt the inauguration as much as we can. So they want to, and now we've got undercover investigations done by Project Veritas. The first part was released today. Part 2 is going to be released tomorrow, and James O'Keefe is going to join us to talk about that. But first, I want to play part 1 that was released today. This is part of Project Veritas infiltrating some of these groups to say that they're going to disrupt, to block, to release, in some cases, very smelly substances to make people have to evacuate the rooms. That's what they're talking about doing. Here's the undercover investigation from Project Veritas.
Yeah, if you had a freaking pint of butyric acid, I don't care how big the building is, it's closed and it's staying closed for a while.
Yeah. And this stuff is like, it's very efficient. It's very, very smelly. It lasts a long time. And a little of it goes a long way.
I know, I'm trying to think through how to get all the sprinklers throughout the woods. There's usually a piece of like fusible metal or a piece of glass in the liquid and it'll blow.
This is undercover video of potential criminal acts being planned. These organizers and activists are talking about setting off butyric acid into the ventilation system and setting off fire alarm sprinklers at a